welcome back to Behind the Gate with Scott and Kate. It's Kate here, and I am with one of our former Cape Breton drivers. He started his career off in Cape Breton, and I'm excited to have him on for the 43rd episode. So he's a Cape Bretoner. He's only young. He's making a name for himself on the circuit. I would like to welcome Colin Kelly to the podcast. And thanks, Colin, for joining me on this call and to get to talk to you about life in general of harness racing with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's just start off. You're born and raised from Cape Breton. Can you tell us of like your earliest memories of like harness racing and how things went back then for you?
Yeah, I got my first racehorse actually when I was 12. My parents gave me a racehorse for my birthday, but like as young as I can ever remember, I remember going to the barn. Like both sides of my family, mom's side and dad's side, both had horses as long as that they can remember even really. And no, I was always in the barn. My grandparents both had their own horse barn in the backyard kind of thing. It was just more of a family ordeal, and it was just everybody did it. So like uncles, cousins, like Ryan. I spent a lot of time with my mom's side of my family with the Campbells, like Ryan and Bobby and Hardigan. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, a lot of bad horses, a lot of good horses. But it was yeah. So like back in the day, there was no getting away from it, more or less. Dad's side, mom's side, both sides are just full as far as you can look into it with horses. So it was either go to the barn or stay at home. And there wasn't a whole lot to do. There wasn't a whole lot to do in Cape Breton, so you definitely went to the barn.
That's awesome. So growing up in the Maritimes, who kind of was like one of your most, I don't know, popular drivers that you looked up to or a mentor that you kind of looked up to within the harness racing?
I followed my cousin around everywhere when I was a kid. Like I followed Ryan around since I could barely walk, and he did when he started driving. He was going to Inverness twice a week to drive, and I was always just in the passenger seat no matter where he went to drive. If he went to PEI to drive, I went to PEI with him. I was always just kind of like I followed him around, and he did well for himself there. He actually did drive a little bit in Rito and stuff when he was up here too working. And yeah, no, he's always one of the like top horses, and he kind of showed me a lot about driving when I was younger.
Oh, nice. So, do you remember your first win as a driver?
Yeah, it was actually Mr. Gilmore. It was my cousin Andy's horse, and it was absolute torrential downpours, and the horse went a mile and 2.7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big change.
Absolutely. 2.7 to like everything going in 56, 55 on a normal day. So that's huge.
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
is. It's a big change.
yeah, absolutely. So what was it like for the transformation from, the maritime racetracks to going to like Ontario? Was it a crazy change or was it a big surprise? Like, what was it for you?
It was a little scary to be honest with you. I didn't really know a lot of people here. I didn't know where I was going. I actually just took a groom job with Fellows, and I happened to get lucky. There was a man named Ivan Gallant and stable at Fellows' home farm, and he listed me on a couple of horses. And Fellows had horses for people by the name of Sugarmans, and they seen me drive a couple of trotters for Ivan in Woodbine, and they had actually mentioned to Kyle that they had a couple of horses. They sent a couple of horses that were just B track horses, and they said, oh, you can let him drive them if you want. And then I actually got to drive a horse by the name of Freddie Bear. That's who I got my first win in Ontario with, and my first Woodbine with actually. And
Wow.
he was a pretty cool little horse. You know, not very big, but he was a little silly. He was only 3 then when I started driving him Flamborough, and he actually I went in 51 in a piece with him. He was a really nice little horse. He just not all that. He was a stud and didn't really pay attention a whole lot, but he actually kind of how it started, and then I actually became very close friends with Bob McClure, and that was the year that Bobby won the driving title for all of Canada. He had the most wins in the country,
Wow.
and he kind of helped me along the way too with advice and meeting people. But it's a way different world, I think, here, because there's so many drivers, and there's so much competition that you can lose your work a lot easier than you can get your work.
Yes, exactly. Um, Talking about your driving, you are creeping up on your 2000s lifetime win. Congrats. You're only
Thank you.
3 wins away. How does it feel to be like that close to such a big accomplishment?
Yeah, it's cool. It's to be honest with you, things kind of get slow, and it seems like everything goes wrong when you get close to something like that. It seems like it takes extra time when you get close and people start to notice those milestones. But it's been a big surprise. Like, I'm like racing here, it's gone extremely well. It's done everything. Like, it's I've made a lot of very good friends, done a lot of pretty cool things here, and to be that close and have that much success, like with that many wins in a short period of time, has been I've been very fortunate, that's for sure. But hopefully by the middle of the week, by Thursday, I'll be able to get that done, because I get a bit of a light card tonight, but tomorrow, hopefully. I thought I'd have it for my birthday on Saturday, but we actually get a bad thunderstorm rolled in that washed the track out Saturday, so we had to
Ugh,
cancel Flamborough.
that's a bummer. That would have been cool to get your wins
Yeah,
there.
and it actually would have worked out funny, because it was 4 years ago that I got my 1,000th win, and yet on
Wow.
Saturday David raced and he got his 1,000th win. So we would have got if we would have raced, we both would have got it on the same day.
That would have been wicked. That would have been a good story to
Yeah.
have for sure.
Yeah. But
So,
there's always tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. There's always more. There's always racing happening somewheres.
You bet.
So, you have over 12,000 starts in your career. Is there a few races that kind of stand out to you that you kind of hold really close to you, or um that are just like huge accomplishments?
There's probably at the top of the list would be I won the City of London final for 3-year-old fillies. It must have been, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. It's probably 6 years ago now. And I was driving this. She's a really nice filly. She won 11 straight early. She won the Kim Pace final, but like I won the City of London, and like for anybody that's ever been to this, like Camelot Classic night, it used to be Molson Pace night, but it's now Camelot Classic night. Anyone that's ever been that, the crowd and the atmosphere there. It's absolutely unbelievable, and they put on such a good show. Like, they do such a great job there, and like there's not a spot in the fence. There's not a spot in the grandstand. The whole center field's full of people. It's a pretty cool experience. To me, like, that was probably one of my better races. I was actually fortunate enough. I don't know, I didn't win it, but I was fortunate enough when I was 24 to drive in the Battle of the Bells and the Battle of Waterloo final, which is pretty cool because each of those go for over 200,000. That was like kind of the first big race I was ever fortunate enough to be in. I actually got money in both of them, which was a big shock to me too. But I'd say like City of London final with hers, that back then it was, I think they went for 50,000. The finals did, and and she was just such a cool horse. Like, she'd do whatever you want. Like, she's actually a broodmare now, and I'm kind of excited to see. I still ask Andrew every time I see him. I said, "How's the fillies?" Like, she had a filly, so I always ask him how the baby's doing. And he keeps telling me to come by the farm and look, but I never got there yet, but she's only young, so still a long way to see her yet.
Absolutely. So with racing, what does your like a typical race day look like for you? Like preparation, mindset, kind of a routine. Do you have any of that on a normal race day?
Yeah, I still go to the gym a lot. Like that's kind of my main thing. Like I have to. But I usually go to the gym for 5, 6 days a week just because I don't know. It seems to keep my head in the right space. You know, I try not to get too involved. Like I with like getting so caught up in it that's the only thing you think about is horses because like that can wear on your brain a lot. I find. I I like to before I go to the track, you know, hour before I'm ready to leave. I usually just go over the book, see what the card looks like for the night. But I usually don't have much of a routine. I like to, like I said, just kind of get your body moving a little bit through the day sometime, and try and eat right. It's about the only thing I can do really. And then I just, you know, if you show up to work and do the best you can. That's about the only thing you can do. You can't let you can't let a bad race ruin your whole night because there's you know you could have 7 more to drive after that bad race. And if you're in a bad mood and you start making poor decisions on the racetrack, then I find.
Absolutely. As your, 2000 win is approaching, and hopefully like within the week that you get that, what are some goals moving forward for you?
I don't really, I'll be honest, I don't really set goals. I like to try and win one race a day. Like one a day that's a lot of, that's, you know, if you race 300 times a year, that's a lot of wins. Like if you can try and win one a day, I know there'll be days where you're fortunate and you'll win 3, maybe 4. There's days that'll also be dry and bad luck and whatnot, but I just try and just drive every race the best you can, and you know, try and make the most you can for each trainer and owner, and that results in the best situation for yourself too, right? So, as long as you can do the best you can, drive the horse to the best of your ability, I find that's more or less. So I find if you start putting pressure on numbers and looking at numbers, I find again you kind of get caught up in things in a bet not the right mindset, not the right way, and it'll again with putting too much pressure on yourself and overdrive horses, and it just results in less luck, I find.
Right, exactly. I know for a few drivers, they have like a pre-race ritual or, something that they have to do or something that they may have to wear just for like luck wise or like I said, a ritual. Is there anything that you have or do pre-race?
Yeah, I cannot go to the track without coffee. No matter what, if I'm starting in the last race, if I only have one drive and it's the last race and it's scheduled for 11 p.m., my sleep's probably not going to be that good that night because at 9:45 I'm getting a coffee.
Nice. So, racing has its ups and downs. What kind of keeps you motivated and stay like on top of things? I know you mentioned the gym. Is there other things that helps?
No, I don't know. Like I really enjoy going. Like it doesn't seem like a job when you get to the track. The travel can suck. You know, like, it can be a lot of stress. Like if you do double track, trying to rush to get to the next track, and that there aspect of things can wear on you. Like if you're doing like for a while in the summer, you can do double track Saturday and Sunday. It results in about 11.5 hours of driving,
Wow.
and that there can wear on you a bit. But I kind of slowed that down with Clinton and stuff. I kind of gave that up because you'll do it at the odd time in the summer for stakes, but like there's once you get to the track, to me, it's never feels like work. You know, you get to enjoy what you do. It's pretty cool. Like when you think back on it, like you did it for a hobby for so long, and with for no money, and just doing it for fun. Now you get to like you're fortunate enough that you wake up every day and you kind of get to do what you dreamed of doing as a kid. So you just have to kind of take a step back and realize like hey, I finally get to do something I really enjoy, because I did a lot of shitty jobs throughout my life, and before I actually decided to move here. And if I wasn't doing this, what would I actually be doing?
Right.
Probably be back trying to break your back doing construction again. So it's very lucky to do what I do. So that's kind of the only reason. I think even if you're having a bad day, like you have to realize that you're very, very lucky to do this, and there are very few people that can actually wake up every day and say they have their dream job. So,
Right, exactly. Before we wrap everything up, lastly, looking back on your journey from, your first drive in Cape Breton and to where you're at now, almost at your, 2000th win, is there anything you would say you would do different?
um, yeah, there's probably a few things I'd change. I I don't know if I'd exactly change the route I went, but I think like the aspect of things, like I when I was younger, I used to get a little heated on the racetrack, and I've learned to control that a lot better now. So I think that would probably be the biggest thing. Like, you could kind of like take a step back and just slow things down, because like, yeah, I also have to understand, like with racing, everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody wants to make the most amount of money they can. Everybody wants to win. So things always happen. And when you race with people, like we race against one another 7 nights a week, so there can always be arguments, or something happens on the track. But like, you still, I've just been very lucky that I could change things now and realize that I was doing that. But it's yeah, if I was anything to change, it would definitely be like just take a deep breath before you say anything, for sure.
I love it. It's always good to be able to, look back on things and say, I would change something and it would be this. But where you're at now, you obviously you have improved. You look at your driving, like I remember when you were young and you got your first drivers, and I seen you out on the track for amateur races and stuff. Like, you have come a long ways, and that's how you kind of grow in the industry. You have to take those leaps and bounds, and I congratulate you again on your hard work and your dedication, and your thrive to keep going, because obviously this industry isn't the easiest, but you can have fun doing what you love to do. So I envy that.
Yeah, it's a huge bonus for sure. Like, you get to go to the track, and I get it. There's a lot of pressure on it when it comes to like your racing, especially like stake races and stuff. But if you want, I find from what I've learned with, especially with driving, is the people like, if you want to be, you have to compete and do the things that the best drivers do, more or less. I find learning, taking advice from people, like people don't want to take advice, but if there's someone like, even like the Dexter Duns and the Tim Tetricks and the Anik and all those people, like they're the top tier drivers of the world, really. And if you sit down and watch what they do throughout the run of a car, like you can actually sit down and like, oh, maybe I can do that. Maybe, you can kind of learn from people that are in a better spot, and always take advice. And you'll always learn something with horses. That's for sure. You can never know everything about horse racing.
You got that right. My last question, I know it wasn't one I sent you, but where you have been in the Maritimes and you've gone and, done bigger and better things with yourself, what is something that you would love to see the Maritimes do for like their new upcoming drivers, or even young folks that want to get into driving? Because you and me both know there's not as many opportunities around here as there is, say, in Ontario or the States, for these young drivers to kind of get that bug to go behind the gate or to be in a race.
But for the young people that want to do it, you have to find something. You have to sit on horses. Like, that was my thing. Like when I was younger, there was always horses around to jog. There was always horses around to train, and that can be very tough, especially for people that like I was very lucky that I everywhere I went, my family there was horses. Like I was very lucky that Ryan and my dad, my even like my brother, but my grandparents, there's horses everywhere, and if you want to actually do it, like you have to sit on horses. That's the more horses you sit on. Like I remember you warming horses up every single race day, and going and jogging and training. And the more experience you can get, the better off you are. And I think that's really you can't get once you're hooked, you can't get rid of it. It's almost like a sickness. It really is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Colin, for taking your time out of your day to chat with me about everything that you've done in your driving career. And I wish you, again, all the best. And we hope to see you get your 2000s win because that would be amazing to see. And like I said, thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing what's next in in your career.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so. I'm looking forward to it myself, actually. Like, I hope, hopefully everything keeps going great, and hopefully I'll get home again. I haven't been home in a long, well, probably 2 years now. So hopefully I'll get home here soon for maybe even Christmas time, and that'll be see everybody again and be nice. But thanks for having me, and I really appreciate you guys doing this. I wish you guys all the luck.
Well, thank you very much. And that's a wrap for episode 43 with Colin Kelly. And our next guest is Kurt Hughes, and Scott will have a bunch of questions for him. So thanks for joining. And that's it for Behind the Gate with Scott and Kate.